Looking for a cosmic adventure like no other? Zatswan, Multiversal Guardian is a high-stakes comic book journey through the multiverse with stunning art and an unforgettable hero. Get your copy today in ebook and paperback formats. Link in the description.
Hi everybody, Neil Allen here, the creator of Zatswan, and I will be working on a page of Zatswan while I tell you about an interesting experience that I had a little while ago. A little while ago, I uploaded a video talking about what I wanted to see from DC Comics and John Stewart, the Green Lantern, moving forward, and how I was interested in seeing, John Stewart being the lead Green Lantern, not needing to share his spotlight with Hal Jordan. And that was in reply to some sentiments that I've seen online from some fans acting like it should be both Hal and John. Like they should be able to DC should be able to, instead of alienating a portion of the fan base, they should try to get both of them. Interestingly enough, these people had no problem whatsoever with John Stewart fans being alienated for well over a decade, maybe even like 20 years. They were okay with all that, but now that the tables are turned, they want to act like everything should be 50-50. And I wanted to give my response to that. And in that video, I talked about how I wanted to see John Stewart and Hawkgirl in comics and in movies and things like that. And these are just my personal opinions, right? And I don't make any apologies for them, but I'm also open about stating that, these are just my opinions, the opinions of a fan on the internet. So then some person comes up in my comments, saying stuff like, what's up with the obsession with, Hawkgirl and Green Lantern? Like that only lasted 4 or 5 episodes in the Justice League cartoon show, and this, that, and the other. And, to be completely honest with you, I don't have those comments anymore because true story, accidentally deleted them. I was telling somebody else, I was texting a person that I know. I was like, somebody tried fighting me about Green Lantern and Hawkgirl today. And then they said, what was their side of the argument? So then I was like, well, I'll just copy and paste it for you. And I was fumbling around. I was texting, so I was on my tablet. And I was fumbling around trying to highlight the posts, and I accidentally hid user from channel. And I'm like, uh-oh. And when you do that, you delete all the posts that they made on your channel. So unfortunately, I lost those comments, and I really wish I hadn't, because I wanted to use them for content, for this video, because it's kind of interesting. But I'll paraphrase for you, but this is really what happened, more or less. So this person's trying to downplay the romance with Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, saying, oh, that only went on for 4 or 5 episodes. And then so I reply, I'm like, cut the downplaying. That did not go on for 4 or 5 episodes. It went on for the entire duration of the show. From the beginning all the way up to the end, more or less. You know what I mean? And I said it was a foundational aspect for not only those 2 characters, but for the show in general. The romance between Green Lantern and Hawkgirl is a important aspect of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. So then this person comes back and they're like, no, it is not. It ended when it ended. John Stewart left Hawkgirl for Vixen. And I really wish I could read you the exact comments, but then I'm like, no, it ended. If it ended when it ended, it wouldn't have continued to be a plot thread throughout the entirety of the show, all the way till the end, with the episode Ancient History. It's the romance started in War World, and it just, that continued to be a thread all the way through the show. So this person's trying to act and then I was like, if it ended when it ended, there wouldn't have been a comic book that comes out after the show went off the air explaining how the 2 got back together. And this person just asked me, like, okay, what's up with your obsession with Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, which already is like, um, I feel, I'm trying to be kind of polite here, a jerk move already, because it's like, and I don't mind calling this person out because people really need to learn how to act right, especially if they're going to be up on my channel. And if they can't, they're not going to last that long, which is fine with me. But the interesting thing with me is like, I'm more than willing to have a discussion with people, but you're going to have to learn how to act right. And part of this video is going to be explaining how you do that, actually. So if you're actually wanting to come up, and so anyway, this person keeps acting like, oh, I like your content, but, and then, they cross the line saying, I eventually said, like, because this person would not go away. They asked me, like, okay, why do you like this thing, even though they did it in a jerk way? Like, what's up with your obsession? And then so I explain it to them, and that's not good enough for them. It's like, so they keep coming back. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. And it became pretty clear that this person's just like angry. Here's what's actually going on. So the premise of this video, one of them will be like, why does this relationship make people so mad? Because it definitely does. You know, it seemed to me like this person was like a Green Lantern and Vixen shipper, which is rare. It's not that I've never seen those people, but I do not encounter them often. I don't think that's necessarily a popular ship. And that goes into like why people get angry. Or it could have, this is a bit of a conspiracy theory. I'll just take the person at their word. But it could have been that they were like, um, a Hawkman shipper in disguise, just trying to bolster up the ship that's like not threatening to the one that they like. That's a possibility, but I don't know. Um, so anyway, this person just would not go away. And, they just basically, the problem is, you ask me, even if it is in a jerk fashion, I'll entertain you a bit. Why do I like what I like? Okay, I'll explain it to you. No, they can't just leave it at that. They got to go on, no, you're somehow wrong. You're somehow wrong. And then, you're really starting to cross lines when you're saying, because eventually he says, what did he say? He said, I think you should do something. I don't remember exactly what. Oh, he says, you're seeing what you want to see. Like the relationship wasn't that important. I think you should watch Justice League again. And, view it with this sort of frame of reference. And I'm like, I didn't say this to the person, but actually, when it comes to like the Justice League cartoon show, that's not like something I saw way, way long ago, and that's it. I saw it like last week. Uh, it's not uncommon for me to like turn on some episodes and like watch it. You know what I mean? It's not just something I saw ages ago. Um, and then I said something like, what did I say? Oh, I said, and I think you should stop policing fans and like telling them what to like and what not to like and how they need to watch shows and stuff like that. And then this individual comes back again and it's like, I'm not policing anything, which is incorrect. They're like, I'm not policing anything. I just think it's childish that what was it, that you're trying to get this relationship from a cartoon show from 20 years ago. He's using all the jargon, the 20-year-old cartoon show, into the mainline comics when that cartoon show has its own continuity that's unique to itself. And then I said something like, and again, I would have just read this to you if I still had the comments. So I replied like, and I think it's childish that you care so much about what some guy thinks, or what some guy likes from a cartoon show from 20 years ago, to the point you're going to have a back and forth with them about it. Like, it's like, okay, somebody wants to ask me why I like something, I'm more than happy to tell them, but you're just going to have to accept that. You know what I mean? So this person clearly didn't know how to act right. And, that's nothing terribly uncommon, unfortunately, but it's not something, that I'm going to like suffer over here. You know what I mean? So that's like one of the reasons why I don't have any problem talking about this person. The person wants to keep talking about like, oh, I like your content, but I think you're childish. So what this and that doesn't faze me because so the way I see it is like I am not a perfect person. I never like purport to be, but there are a lot worse things a person can be doing than quote unquote obsessing over Green Lantern and Hawkgirl. There are a lot. So to try to shame somebody over that, I think that just goes to show that you're the childish one because you care so much about some stranger you don't know actually liking that. You know what I mean? Like there are a lot worse things I could be doing. Uh, I have absolutely like no history whatsoever, no record with the criminal justice system. I don't partake in any illegal substances, not a drunkard. Okay, we got that. I think we got this AC Cooper. And let's go back and see if we can get these characters here. And I've always been very responsible with where I stick my penis and under what circumstances. So, got no, baby mamas out here, illegitimate children, or any sexually transmitted diseases. I don't gamble, not in, financial ruin due to a bunch of irresponsibility and stuff. What I'm getting at is like there are a lot worse things a person can be doing or involved with. So to come and attempt to shame them about something totally harmless, like they like a ship from cartoon characters. You can try to do that, but I mean that might work on some people maybe, but that doesn't work on me because I know that, like I said, there are a lot worse things I could be doing or being involved with, liking the Green Lantern and Hawkgirl ship. That is utterly harmless, you know. And yeah, there are like worse things a person could be doing out here with their time. I'm a person who's just sitting here talking about what I want to see from Green Lantern and creating my own comics, and you want to come and shame me about that? No, that's not going to work on me, man. So I mean, it's kind of interesting. I think it says more about the other person than it does me, and that's one of the reasons. Like there are a couple reasons why I don't mind calling this person out, because like I said, clearly they don't know how to act right, and we'll get more into that. But another reason too, uh excuse me, I want to talk more about why does this make people so angry? Like, why can't they just accept, oh, that's what these other, I may not like it, but these other people do, and leave it at that? You know what I mean? And I know some people do, but unfortunately, there are people like this who don't. They just they don't know how to process that well. They end up doing something dysfunctional like what this poster has done. Um, well, about knowing how to act right, we'll talk about that first. So, as I said, I'm more than happy to talk about why I like the things I like. But your step number one, you're coming across in a jerky fashion. What's with your obsession? You know what I mean? You're putting this pejorative on it, like somehow there's something wrong with the person or something wrong with what they're doing. So, there's like problem number one with you, right? Like, no, that's not how you act. You don't come up on somebody, if you actually want to have a decent conversation with them, doing that. You know what I mean? So then problem number two, when they tell you why they like this thing that you apparently do not like, you are just going to have to accept what they tell you. Trying to go back and forth with them, to what end, I really don't know. When I said that, like, what are you trying to do? Change my mind about something that I've, liked for 20 years? Good luck with that. You know, yeah, I don't really, we'll have to look at the sketch here because these figures in the back are like pretty far and they don't come through as well as I would like through the light pad. That was another problem with this person, not being able to just accept what another person told them, even if that other person doesn't feel that way. Some of the things the person was just saying were objectively wrong. I want to talk about that too, which we'll get back to. And then you want to come and insult them because they actually like something different on a cartoon than you. Yet you want to have the gall to call them the childish one. That is absurd. You really need to take a serious look in the mirror, you know, if you're at that point. You're calling someone childish when you're the one insulting them because of they don't agree with your opinion about a cartoon characters. I mean, at that point, I think you really need to reevaluate yourself and the way you're coming across because there's a serious lack of self-awareness going on there, uh, as I see it. Okay, and so, but basically what it essentially came down to was this person was just angry. Why do people get angry about this? Okay, so before we get into that, I do want to talk into some other things about the ship. Okay, so here's one thing this person needs to understand. Like they I don't know if they're just ignorant or not using their head properly or both, but it doesn't really matter how long like the actual relationship went on. You will find people out here shipping stuff about characters that aren't even in relationships at all. You know what I mean? Like let's take Raylo for example, like from Star Wars. I actually stopped watching those movies after The Last Jedi, so I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure. I don't think Kylo Ren and Rey were ever in an actual committed, made official relationship. I don't think they were. That did not stop people from shipping the heck out of them. Now, and I'm not like a Raylo shipper, right? Now, this gets to like some of the core of some of the things I want to discuss here. Um, Not at all. But I never had the inclination to come in and crash those people's party. I didn't like that's what they do. That's their business. Doesn't appeal to me. I can't see this clearly enough. So we're just going to leave that part with the character's hands open for now. Uh, yeah, not my cup of tea, but it's like I never went in there to criticize them for liking what they like because I don't. First of all, that's just a jerk thing to do. B, to what avail? You know what I mean? Like, am I gonna change their minds about anything? No, not bloody likely. And C, it's like a waste of time. I'm just not interested. But this is pretty interesting because I've always given that. I talked to somebody else and I was telling that person, like, it's interesting how I always find myself on the defensive with stuff like this. Like, I have argued with comic book fans before about stuff, but it's not because they like something and I'm going to come at them for liking it. I've really thought about myself and my history, and I've never done that. I've never like crashed a Hal Jordan or a Jeff Johns party. I'll tell you what I think of them, but other fans are free to feel completely the opposite. I have no problem with that, but I find for a lot of people, or at least some of these people that I've unfortunately run across, the reverse just isn't the same for them. Like Hawkman and Hawkgirl, I don't like invade their. I don't like you know crash their party or anything. I don't care. They want to like that. That's their business. I really don't care. Um, and that's kind of how like a well-adjusted, healthy person like operates with this stuff. They might not like it. Might not be something that appeals to them, but other people are free to do whatever they're going to do, and that doesn't have any bearing or effect on you. You know what I mean? These people, though, other people are apparently so insecure that they feel that you liking something different than them is threatening to them. And yeah, now we're going to get to the part about um, why people get so angry about this. And even though I don't know, this person was sounding like they like the Vixen ship. So here's the deal. They're just like mad because Vixen and Green Lantern is there. Okay, here's the real answer. I won't hold out any longer. These people get upset about this because it's popular. And what they really get upset about is not only is like a thing like Green Lantern and Hawkgirl popular, it's more popular than whatever the heck it is that they like. Like Vixen and Hawkgirl, I'm sorry, Vixen and Green Lantern, I can't, I don't know for sure, but I don't think that's that popular. I definitely know it's not as popular as Hawkgirl and Green Lantern. Hawkman and Hawkgirl is not as popular as Hawkgirl and Green Lantern. And these are the reasons these people feel so insecure and threatened about it. Like, I don't sweat Vixen and Green Lantern. I don't, you know what, to be completely honest with you, uh-oh, I accidentally turned off my light pad. It's very finicky. Um, to be completely honest with you, I honestly don't think about it that much. Like, you will rarely, I talk a lot about Green Lantern and John Stewart on this channel, but you will uh, rarely hear me talk about Green Lantern and Vixen because I just do not talk. I just don't think about it. I don't really care. Like, I'm not focused on it. As I see it, that was just a subplot. It was just something that was there to add tension to the story of Green Lantern and Hawkgirl. That's my take on it. So it was like a narrative construct. Now some people might actually like the relationship like this person here. More power to them. Like, I don't feel I don't sweat that. I don't feel threatened by it. I don't care about it. Like, they're more than, I even told that user, like, well, if you don't like what I'm doing here, because a lot of the content I have here is about Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, then, you're always free to watch something else. And maybe there's a channel out there somewhere that talks about the ship that you like. I don't know, because I don't follow Green Lantern and Vixen. I have, like, no interest in it, actually. I think we got this panel down. I focus on the things that I actually like, and I don't like waste time. It's just that's just not in my character. Like, I just don't. I can't wrap my. I can't. I think I could understand why people do this, but it's not. There is no good reason, even if I understand it. I don't like get mad about other people liking things I don't like. Like, if people want to like Hal Jordan or Jeff Johns comics, because I know those people are out there, they're more than welcome to, as far as I'm concerned. Like, they don't. First of all, I know they don't need my permission to, but secondly, like, I just don't care if they do. Like, I'm just focused on me and what I like and what I want to see. I'm not really too concerned about people who want to see something like, I'm not overly concerned about people who want to see something else, uh but I guess, and that's like the issue. Like, okay, I'm okay with people liking something else, and I'm secure enough in myself and what I like, that doesn't bother me. But there are people out there who just they can't deal with that well, and then they want to take out their frustrations on like me, or others like me who actually likes something else. But I always say this, like, it seems to be a realization, like, there are people out there who feel completely different, you know, than you do, and it is good to be aware of that. And because if you're not, and I've seen this happen with fans quite a bit, you could get completely blindsided when you find out there's a whole community of people who doesn't like the things that you do, you know. And I've seen that. I think that happened to the people doing the Green Lantern film in 2011. They wanted to get so caught up in their Hal Jordan love fest that DC had going on back in the 2000s that they completely disregarded that there was a whole giant segment of people that sees Green Lantern as John Stewart, probably even more, especially at that time. And look what happened. Now, that's not the only reason their 2011 movie tanked, but it is a reason. It is like um, a part of the tapestry of why that movie failed, I would say. Um, so I'm aware that I don't find myself in those situations because one of the things I talk about quite a bit on this channel is awareness. You know what I mean? I'm aware there are people who don't like what I like, who like are literally who like literally diametrically opposed things. I'm well aware of that, so when they pop up, I'm not surprised, or I'm not surprised that, you know, I know they feel the way they do. I know why they feel the way they do. It's not surprising to me. But interestingly, with a character like John Stewart, I run into a lot of fans, and this is another one of these people. They cannot wrap their head, lack of awareness, I guess is what I would say. They cannot wrap their heads around why people involving him like things the way they like why they like them. Like they're at such a loss. It's so foreign to them. Like what's up with the Green Lantern and Hawkgirl obsession? And even the person's uh, admitting that it's a popular ship, you know, they're just mad because whatever ship they like that apparently Green Lantern and Hawkgirl is opposed to, or at least so they see it, is not as popular. And they're just angry at the ship. Well, I don't think I could help you with anything like that. Let's see. Do I want that eye? We're going to have to see. So as it happens, this isn't like the best time of day to be doing this, to be using my light pad, because it's like literally afternoon right now and the sun's shining through the window. And it's better to have a completely dark room when you're doing this type of stuff. But I'm kind of impatient and just feel like getting on with this page. So here we are. I'll just work with it and then make adjustments afterwards if I need to. So yeah, this is nothing new I've encountered. People angry that about something in regards to John Stewart, angry at something in regards to him because it's popular. Either he's popular or something he's involved with is popular, and they're mad because whatever opposing thing that they like, be it Hal Jordan or Vixen or Hawkman or whatever, it's not as popular or as acclaimed, and people don't love it as much. And I don't know. They wish that people did, but they just don't. You know, I'm trying to think. Like, I probably like some stuff that's just like not popular. You know what I mean? But I'm okay with that, like, because it's about like what I like. It's not about like I don't care how other people respond to it. It's cool if they like it too. I think a lot of people want for the stuff that they like to be loved, but um me uh I'm more concerned with my own relationship with the thing. You know what I mean? Not other people's. Like, because other people's relationship with the thing, whatever the thing may be, a feature, a comic, a cartoon, a product, I don't know. It's like that's not important to me, like, or at least not nearly as important. What's really important to me is like my own, that's what I focus on, my own relationship with the thing. How other people feel about it's kind of a very distant secondary factor, I would say. Of course, people don't like, people dumping on stuff that they like. Like, okay, I get that. But for me, I never dumped on. So here's the interesting thing: I never dumped on Vixen and Green Lantern. I didn't dump on Hal Jordan or even Jeff Johns. The most I said in the video in question is, I don't want to see that. I want to see this other stuff instead, which is completely fair. And the reason why I do that is because, fans like to get their voices out there and heard. And there are fans who don't want to see Sinestro Corps War. They don't want to see Jeff Johns. They don't want to see Jeff Johns inspired stuff with Green Lantern. They don't want to see, Hal Jordan again. They don't want to see all that same stuff that they already saw for like 10, 15 years by now. And sometimes, like, if you don't speak up about that, then, a company could just keep giving you the same stuff that you don't want to see. Now, I'm fully aware there are people who want to see other stuff as well, and the thing is, I'm not going to interrupt them from saying what they want to see. I never do. So I thought that was an interesting thing. Yeah, these fans, they get really insecure about it, and I find it fascinating. I guess perhaps there's something psychologically fascinating, and I honestly, there's a part of me that actually enjoys seeing them crash out. When they're just faced with results that they don't know what to do with it, you know what I mean? And honestly, they spaz out, crash out. I've seen it. I've seen it in relation to Green Lantern. I've seen it in relation to Green Lantern and Hawkgirl. They don't deal with this stuff like well, a lot of them. At least there's a whole segment of people that don't. And frankly, I don't know, it makes for interesting entertainment watching them crash out. This person here, yeah, kind of crashing out. Just in the sense that they were obviously upset, because otherwise, why do you keep coming at me? You know what I mean? Okay, this guy likes this other thing. He told me why. Yeah, I might not see it, but okay, whatevs. No, it's like, you're wrong. Like, what are you gonna do? Tell me I'm wrong for liking Green Lantern and Hawkgirl? What are you gonna do? Tell all these people they're wrong for liking Green Lantern and Hawkgirl? It's not gonna work. Like, what's the point of that? First of all, it won't work. Second of all, they're not wrong for liking something they just happen to have an emotional attachment to because they saw it on TV and thought it was good. You ask them why they like it. Why do you like Green Lantern and Vixen? Like, I mean, I guess if you're like, there's a superficial pro-black element to it. Like, I could see some reasons why people would. Or maybe they just like the vibe of it. See, the thing is, like, I'm not gonna, like, discount why they would like that. Like, I don't like it. I see some reasons why some people will like it, but that's their reasons. I'm not gonna, like, downplay why they would like it or their reasons for liking it. That's just their prerogative. But unfortunately, weirdos like the person I was dealing with, they can't give you that same grace. They're just so uncomfortable, and they just want to take out their frustrations at this ship being popular. It's kind of warm in here. I'm going to turn on a fan. Hold on a sec. Okay, yeah, they can't give you that same grace. They got to come in trying to tell you how wrong you are, even when you're the right one, Like, it only went on for 4 or 5 episodes. Get out of here with that. The thing went on the whole show. Like I said, went on from Warworld all the way up to the end of the show. Ancient History was like one of the final episodes. It was foundational to the whole show. If it wasn't, people wouldn't like Green Lantern and Hawkgirl as much as they do if it was just some passing thing that didn't matter. So, I mean, yeah, you can just actually be... That's not a matter of opinion as I see it. That's just what it is. Now, the other person's trying to argue that I'm just seeing what I want to see to validate my own interest. No, I think that's actually what this other user is doing. Trying trying to downplay something they don't like for whatever reason they don't like it. I do not know. I guess they think the Vixen thing is better. You'll be in the minority with that. I guess, yeah, that's what makes them frustrated. Like the Hawkman people, they're mad because their relationship's supposed to be the real traditional one, but this upstart alternative actually ended up being way more popular than that. So I get why these people get upset. You know what I mean? And yeah, what can I say? Like, I mean, what can I say? Like, they can do that. I think where we run it, like they can be upset or frustrated, but where we may run into problems is what do you do with that frustration? You know what I mean? That's where we get into you need to learn how to act right. You know, when you start crossing boundaries with like other people. You know what I mean? Like you start taking out your frustrations at other people. That's not right. You know, where you want to come to them and start insulting them because they like something you don't. That's just fiction, and it's perfectly fine for them to like the thing that they do. You know, and you try to come at them dogmatically, like they're somehow wrong for having an emotional attachment to the thing that they like, and you want to call them the childish ones. Okay, at that point you don't know how to act right, and you need to get checked. That's how I see it. Now you want to come on saying like, oh, I like the content so much. You know, I've thought about that before because it's not the first time I've been like confronted with a thing like this where kind of regular viewers and commenters like want to, you know, it's nice that they like the content and it's nice that they want to participate. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, and I appreciate that aspect in and of itself. But if you don't know how to act right, then you know you're gonna get swiftly dealt with. Um, and I don't like have any qualms about that. I think the shame is that they just don't. They either don't know or don't care to act. They don't know how to act right or just do not care to. Um, I talked to that one person. I was talking to that one person I was telling you about earlier about some of this. Like, what's up with these people? Like, not knowing how to act right. And they're like, well, the internet is kind of like, you know, these types of people like that are like what criminals would be if they felt there was no consequences to what they do. You know what I mean? So they don't feel if there's any real consequence of what they do, so they think they could just act any old kind of way. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think there's a lot of that to it, you know. Well, there are consequences as it turns out. You know, small as they may be. Because the thing is, honestly, I accidentally like deleted those comments, but I was like, well, you know, it's just as well, you know, and that actually was an accident. I was like trying to highlight like the text to copy and paste to that person, and I was using my tablet and just kind of like accidentally like hid user from channel. Then I honestly unhid the user from the channel. First I was like, oh well, you know, it's probably just as well anyway. But then I was trying to get the comments back. I was like, can you get them back if you unhide the user? I didn't think you would be able to. And I tested that out. I'm like, nope. So then I was like, well, then I may as well just hide the user from the channel again. Then it's like, since all the comments were deleted, I forgot their username. So I don't know. If I just see him again, I'll just do it. That's the kind of awkward situation I'm in right now with that. But yeah, I think it's a shame that people, you know, it's cool they want to watch and contribute, and I appreciate all of that stuff, but you gotta like understand, you gotta know how to act right, you know what I mean? Otherwise, like, that'll happen. You like won't be able to like leave comments here that anybody will see at least, which again is I think the shame is just they don't know how to act right, so they're kind of, it's not really me doing that to them, it's them doing it to themselves. But I have seen a lot of that. Like if you're a fan of Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, you've seen like these other people get so insecure about it. It's not just, oh, I would rather see her with Hawkman. Okay, I get that. Nothing wrong with that. You have your that's like a normal person, you know what I mean? And if people just want to be normal people, like normal people know how to act right. And I can like, okay, like we like different things, but I'm like willing to I'm willing to just accept that. That's fine. But that's not what I have a problem with. It's these people who totally crash out. You know what I mean? And this person here, I would say, crashed out. Just the fact you couldn't just leave it like, okay, the person gave you their answer. Why do they like this? It was foundational to both characters on the show. It was a good, well-written romance that was foundational to the show itself. Like you can't act like it's not. It was at the very center of why the show switched from Justice League to Justice League Unlimited. It was the romance was at the very center of the season 2 finale. You can't really you can try to downplay it, but just the popularity of it, I think, is working against you. You know what I mean? Obviously, people saw something there that they like, and if they don't resonate with whatever your preferences, well, I mean, don't take that out on the people. They just like what they like, you know what I mean? You can still like what you like. But yeah, they find it threatening, I guess. I guess they find it threatening to like what they like. Okay, I think we might want to make some adjustments to his face, maybe this eyeball. But actually, since the thing just turned itself off, let me actually have a look at this here. This is Zatswan AC Cooper. Yeah, I might want to I'll look at my sketch and we'll just repair it in the sketch. So we'll still make some adjustments, but other than that, he's not looking bad. This will be fun to like ink in color when we're ready. But that's one thing. Excuse me again. It's very windy today, blowing around like a lot of allergens. One thing I've seen with John Stewart, some of these people just cannot understand like why people like this character so much. They can't get it. Or like, why do you like this relationship so much? So as I said earlier, I'm more than happy to like talk about the things that I like, but here's a pro tip. If you're genuinely curious, don't come at people like acting like a jerk. You know what I mean? Like they're somehow wrong for liking what they do. You know what I mean? You don't want to start off on the wrong foot with people, but that's the interesting thing. People like this, they tend to want to start off on the wrong foot. You know what I mean? And at that point, it isn't even like really worth talking to them much. You're not going to browbeat people into seeing things your way. You're just taking out your frustrations that this character or this ship or this whatever is more popular than the thing that whatever it is you're a fan of. Like I've seen a lot of that, even as it relates to John Stewart. There's a lot of panic surrounding him from certain types of people. Now, Green Lantern and Vixen shippers, I've seen it before, but I don't see a lot of that. I think it's a ship that is outshined completely by Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, and it was done so narratively. Like Green Lantern and Vixen is like just a mini aspect of Green Lantern and Hawkgirl as I see it. It is something there to add tension to the romance, to be an emotional obstacle. You know, not the physical obstacle, but you know, it's something to get in the way. And as far as the characters not being together in their like committed boyfriend girlfriend relationship that long, I honestly think that it should have lasted a lot longer, or maybe it should have just lasted and not ended. That is a shortcoming of the writers of the show, including the much lauded Dwayne McDuffie. I recall them saying that what were we gonna do? Like, this is a boys' action show. We can't have them kissing up every episode. So they wanted to keep that tension going with them. You know, they didn't know how to have things compelling but not have that tension going on. There always had to be some sort of relationship drama tension, and you know, they didn't know what to do with the relationship. Just it being a relationship, they didn't know what to do, or they didn't think this show format is the right thing to do. Which I think that's a shortcoming on their part. I mean, all they would really need to do if they wanted inspiration was look at like Sue Storm and Reed Richards. You know what I mean? Like, there are examples of characters that are just in committed relationships in cartoons and comics, and you can get that to work. But I guess they just wanted to keep farming that, you know, unresolved sexual tension. I guess if they just got into their relationship. Let me look at my sketch. I have a photo of it. Let me turn this off and see. I might want to work on fixing up Zatswan's face here now. If they just got them into their happily ever after relationship, then they might feel that there can be no unresolved sexual tension. Or relationship tension, you know. So they didn't know how to handle that. Which there are things you can do. Let me take a look at this. There are like all kinds of different ways you can like test a relationship that doesn't involve will they, won't they, or is the relationship going to be blown up, you know. But apparently they couldn't think of ways to do that on the show, or they didn't want to. Like, I just want to go to the easiest thing, which is more will they, won't they, you know. And then, okay, we want to get it a bit more like that. Move that eye over a little bit. And then McDuffie just wrote himself in the corner. He like, these are, if you have the DVD, which I do, like the whole set for Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, you can see some extras, like these interview things where they talk about this. McDuffie's like, I didn't know how to get John out of this situation without making him look like a jerk. So that's why Justice League Unlimited ended in a rather unsatisfying way in regards to like that particular relationship, in the opinion of quite a few people. You know, like, you should have, like, what the hell. But the Batman Beyond comic would come in, you know. Which I'm, you know, yeah, Warhawk is canon in that universe. And I am all for, you know, we might work on that a bit more. I am all for John Stewart and Hawkgirl getting back together, but the way that Batman Beyond comic did it, basically John gives up his power ring and Hawkgirl and Vixen dies, which I'll be completely honest with you, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, I don't really care too much about that. But John giving up his power ring, I didn't think that was cool. Then them choosing to stay in Africa for some reason, I'm like, what? As far as Vixen, I don't mind her, honestly. Like, I don't have any, like, I don't dislike Vixen. as far as getting Hawkgirl and Green Lantern back together, if that's, I don't think you have to have Vixen die to do that, but if that's what you want to do, I'm just kind of like, okay. Now we're just working on some of these like careful aspects of the face here. We'll leave it like that for now. Yeah, we'll leave it like that for now. Let me see something. Are these eyes about as big as I'm going to want them? Yeah. All right, but anyway, I think that's basic. I've seen a lot of it, like Green Lantern and Hawkgirl. People just find that to be like a really, people feel like very triggered by it. I think for a lot of reasons, honestly, if I'm putting the whole thing together. Not everybody like has the same it's not the same reason for all these different people, but let me adjust the camera here. Okay, now we're gonna, there's the whole interracial aspect of it that some people are going to be triggered by. There's the fact that a lot of these people, they, want something, or they, especially these comic book fans. What was that guy saying to me? Like, it's not even the main universe. People don't care about that. That's not going to stop any. That's like very weird thinking. People don't care about it not being the comic book universe. The only thing that really matters to them is what they like. You know what I mean? They don't care that it was Hawkgirl and Hawkman in the comics first. So, yeah, we're talking about these comics purist types here. Like, the comics say that, which, I get that you want to see the stuff that you like adapted, I get that I get that. But I guess there's a part of me that's like, well, Green Lantern and Hawkgirl is just a popular thing. There must be something there if people like actually gravitated to that and liked it. You know what I mean? More than the comics accurate version. I think John Stewart is like just a good example of that whole kind of line of thinking. Because like comics purists they want to act like, oh, well, why do people like him? He's not really that cool. He's not that important. But it turns out they like him more. Just more frustration about like him being more popular than whatever it is that they like. And they somehow think that, how can I put this? The thing that they like is the way you're supposed to like something. This other thing's like some kind of off-model alternative. But the thing is, like, okay, the off-model alternative is more loved. You know what I mean? It struck with people, a chord with people. You know what I mean? So that when these people are presented with these other things like Hal Jordan or Hawkman and Hawkgirl, they don't like them as much. What's my take on that? Oh, it's an interesting situation to be in, definitely. Because there's one part of me that's like, just be glad people liked something, at all involving, say, Green Lantern or something like that. Because there's no guarantee they would have loved Hal Jordan. There's no guarantee that the alternative would have worked. You know what I mean? Like, that's going down like a lot of what ifs, and you don't really know. But what we do know is that John Stewart ended up like working with a lot of people. Is this way out here like that? Let me look at my sketch. No, I don't think so. Let me erase that. He ended up working well. Green Lantern and Hawkgirl ended up working well. There's no guarantee that if you did Hal Jordan and Hawkman and Hawkgirl, it would have hit as hard. or hit as well. We just, there's no guarantee of that. I mean, I do understand the frustrations, though. I'll be completely honest with you. I do. You apparently like this thing, like I said, and you want it adapted the way you see it, you know. And now you're in an interesting spot because this other version of it got popular, and now people at large, when they think of that thing, like they think of Green Lantern, or they think of like, well, who's Hawkgirl's boyfriend, they think of, you know, something else. They think of John Stewart, you know, instead of Hawkman, or John Stewart instead of Hal Jordan. And I think I could, to be completely honest with you, I can understand maybe some frustration with that. And I'm not telling people not to be frustrated. I think my whole thing is like, you can be frustrated, but you still need to like know how to act right, you know. That's where like I have a problem. It's like, okay, you can be frustrated, but I'm not telling you not to be. But what do you do with that? Do you start crossing other people's boundaries? Do you start acting like a total jerk? Okay, well then you have a problem there, because regardless of what they're doing with your favorite cartoon characters, you know, it doesn't excuse that sort of, doesn't excuse you like trying to create problems for other people, you know. So that's, you know, where I'm kind of coming from. Let's take a look at the back of his head here. All right. But okay, so I will answer that. Like, now that we've gotten this far into the discussion, I will answer what I think I can about what is up with the obsession with Green Lantern and Hawkgirl. If you want to frame it that way. It was a really well written romance. I liked it because I was really invested in it. I don't like it just because of the quote unquote racial reasons, and I don't think like that's why most people like it. Some people want to act like that with John Stewart, because I've seen this, like, why do people like John Stewart so much? And some people are like, well, because he's black, which ironically is like something you could say towards why some people don't like him. But okay, so the thing about that might play some role, and I'll explain the reasons why. It's not just that, but here you have a really well done character, like a really powerful, well done, well written character that, you know, is that they can connect with, that's actually cool, not like a shabbily done character or someone who just doesn't seem that cool to them, like Cyborg or something like that. Here you have a character that they actually do think that's cool, that is actually a black character. And it's not every day that these people see that. You know, they don't, it's not every day that they see a character that is a black character that they actually think is that cool. You know, so I won't say that doesn't play any part in anything. It does play a part in something, but it's definitely not the only thing, because otherwise you'd just be able to throw a Cyborg there, and it's like people would like gravitate towards that, but they don't. You know, so that racial aspect does play a role. As far going into that, as it relates to Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, you had that, like, you had this really cool black hero who actually got this really, really well written romance arc, and you know that doesn't matter to some of these people, and I know that, and that's fine, because I'm not saying all our values have to be the same. I already know they're not going to be, which is normal, but to some people they don't see that often, or especially back, you know, then back in like the year 2001 or something like that, or in the 2000s, on a cartoon, on an action cartoon show. That was very, very rare. So it's not just that you had this black character doing stuff, it's that he was a character that was actually really awesome, wasn't, you know, secondary in some kind of way, and he was actually getting these deep, well developed It was a deep, well-developed relationship that was believable. I think it would have been well written and awesome, like regardless of like who the characters were, what they looked like. Um, but for some people who that does matter to, like, oh, cool, a black superhero, that's actually cool. It's like, whoa, it's like you just did not see that a lot. So I know it's not. Some people, of course, just like it just because it's good and well written. You know what I mean? Which is good. But there is some of that extra. See what your hand's looking like down here. Like, whoa, something this deep and well written with a black character, a black superhero character. That's really, really awesome. Uh, and I think that connected with a lot of people of a lot of different backgrounds because it was just good. You know, it was well written. So it's kind of that DCAU effect. It was just good and well written, and the alternatives that I've seen, I'm not gonna like poop all over them like Hal Jordan and Carol Ferris or something like that. But apparently, like nothing that I saw to me from them hit me as like hard to where I was like as invested. You know. Now, that's just me though. People are completely different. Like two different people could see the exact same thing and have a completely different reaction to it. Okay, got that in. This house is gonna be pretty interesting. Let's just get it in. Like, so I mean, almost it's like you can ask people why they love this or why they love that or why they love this, but part of it's just gonna be it connected with that particular person. That's not saying that that's not saying that it's guaranteed to hit you the same way because you're a different person. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's a lot of it. You know, it connects with that particular person. Um, but despite that, regardless of kind of that personal preference angle, while I do know there are going to be some people who do not like it regardless, I think general consensus is like Green Lantern and Hawkgirl was very, very, very well written. Um, so that's like it's known to be like Justice League and Justice League in general. It's known to be very well written. You know, so that has a lot to do with it. Uh, I love both characters. They're actually like my favorite characters on the show, Green Lantern and Hawkgirl. I think they play off each other really great. They're really fun to watch. Their bickering was always funny and fun to watch. Uh, Now some people are probably gonna like again they try to shame you, but I don't know. I just don't find it a thing to be ashamed about. Like because I think I've seen somebody do it. It could have been this very like I don't know if it was the same person or not, but like it wasn't this instance, but it could have been the same because I've heard that same argument from somebody before. It only went on so many episodes. It was like, is this the same person that I saw posting about that somewhere? Possibly. Like these people are just trying to live out some whatever fantasy. Okay, well there's not if they are doing that even, there's nothing wrong with it. Again, that's why people like uh read fantasy and watch fantasy and stuff like that. But as it so happens, being with a redheaded girl, that is not a fantasy of mine. That has been my reality. So that plays into some other stuff. Some people just see stuff that they relate with, and like, oh, I could relate with that. Like everybody loves being represented in in their like fiction and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So as far as that, interracial aspect of it, that's some people's experience, so they relate with it. Or that's just what they're into, and you can try to shame people about it, but I just don't think that you need to be ashamed of that. That's just like that's their business. Okay, let's get this in. So this house is kind of intricate here. Now, but that's the interesting thing. I never ask people, and they never, from what I've seen, get asked or have to explain it. Why do you like Hawkman and Hawkgirl? But like that's whatever it is that's their business. I guess they like that reincarnation thing. That's fine. Or why do you like Hal Jordan? Okay. Now we might take a break here for a bit because we've been talking about this topic. I didn't mean to turn that off, but we can see what this is looking like so far. We've made some progress, huh? But anyway, I mean, yeah, that like shaming stuff, I think it's interesting when people try to do it like you're childish or whatever. Like that's interesting. It doesn't work. I think it's interesting, but it doesn't really work on me. Because like I was saying before, there are a lot worse things I could be. There are a lot worse things I could be out here doing. Like liking Green Lantern and Hawkgirl is nothing shameful. Some of that other stuff I mentioned earlier in the video, it would be more shameful. So anything I'm doing over here is like, fine. I don't take any of this stuff to any harmful level. I think the person being harmful is this person here trying to like browbeat me for just like having an opinion about cartoon characters. I think they need to really seriously reevaluate themselves. Okay, but that's it for now. Thanks for like watching and taking time to hang out while we discussed this and I worked on some Zatswan comics. If the stuff I'm doing here looks interesting to you, or if you like the channel and just want to show some appreciation, you can check out my own comic, Zatswan Multiversal Guardian. It is a 130-page cosmic fantasy full-color graphic novel. You can pick it up in the link in the description below for only $2.99 for that much content, which is a really good deal if I do say so myself. And if you do pick Zatswan up, please be sure to leave me a review. That really helps people. Gotta look at my sketch again. That helps people find the content, or that helps people find the book, and it helps me know like what you think about the work that I'm doing. So yeah, pick up Zatswan, leave reviews, and also like and subscribe. And feel free to let me know what you think about these topics we discussed in the comment section below. And I will talk to all of you again very soon. And until then, be sure to take care.